Hello and welcome back to DeadMooseGaming, and today we are back with some more Total War Warhammer II. This is another battle as me playing the Empire, but it's rather different, let's say, than the previous game. Firstly, we have no artillery. Boo, I know. So it's going to be rough. Secondly, this is from an event. Playing as the Empire, you have to deal with your electors, and one of my electors, can't remember which one, got attacked by Norscans. So, being the benevolent emperor that I am, I sent them some reinforcements. Unfortunately, they haven't got that many troops themselves, and as you're going to see, neither do I. The Norscans, meanwhile, have nearly a full army, and they've got some pretty scary troops. Skin wolves, for instance, gonna be hard to deal with. And the Marauder Hunters, bearing in mind this is early game, this was what, turn 20 I think, or turn 30, something like that. It's going to be a pain in the arse to deal with, to be honest. And you can see the balance of power is not that favourable at all. So luckily for us, however, the Norscans are going to split their forces. If they had attacked just one of our stacks, this would have been game over. We would have been completely overpowered and pushed back and forced to retreat, but as you're going to see, they're going to split their forces. As for my forces, I have 2 swordsmen, handgunners, which are nice for the AP, a generic general who's not terrible but it's not going to be great, and 2 Empire Knights. And these Empire Knights are going to be key in deciding the outcome of this battle. So I wasn't really paying attention to what was happening over here, as I was focused on my own engagement, but luckily for me, the skin wolves are focused on the AI. That's another thing to know. I do not have control over these units, it's the AI. So if they do terribly, it's not going to be my fault. So I'm laying down some fire into these marauders. Not the best target, but I need to get rid of bodies. That is the truth. Unfortunately, they've sent their lord over, and that lord is going to be a huge problem. So I send my general in to avoid the swordsman taking unnecessary casualties, and straight away my cavalry is getting stuck in. Looking at how many troops they've sent, the AI should actually be capable of winning this. They outnumber them on that flank, whereas we're outnumbered heavily on this flank. And like I said before, the key is going to be the use of cavalry. One of the problems we're going to have is that we're close to the edge, so if someone starts to rout, then they're probably going to run off the map, which of course is not good. So I was tempted to attack the Marauder Hunters with my cav there, but I thought I'd go for a rear charge instead, try and take away their leadership, but at this point it's not going to be good enough to force them to rout. We'll get some nice damage in there. And those things are deadly. They have AP, which is terrible for us because our knights have a lot of armour, and it's just going to completely ignore that. Immediately our general's losing health. But it is what it is. We're going to have to accept that some losses are going to occur. Meanwhile, our cavalry is once again going in for a charge, picking off some stragglers, and our can't speak today. Our handgunners, rather, are going to change target to take some of their ranged units out, which is what we need. They're going to be a huge problem. We're going to be constantly cycle charging with our knights, that's the only chance we have. And we are nearly going to break off the Marauder Hunters. They're on 1 leadership. There we go, lovely. That's what you like to see. Meanwhile, on this flank, one of their units with skin wolves is nearly dead, but the other one's alive and kicking and destroying the archers. And the centre is holding, which is fantastic. But oh no, disaster! Like I said, our general is not great, and while he's done a few kills, he's wounded. And that loss of leadership is going to be terrible for us. And one of our Empire Knights, unfortunately, was stuck in for a little bit too long and has taken a lot of damage. as has the other one, but they're getting kills. And that's what matters here. We're pretty battered on both ends here. Unfortunately, the Lord is not having any difficulty. And he's going to be a pain in the arse to deal with. Just looking over there quickly. Handgunners are pretty much on full health though, and they're doing a pretty good job against the Norscan ranged units here, which is fantastic. And some marauders are breaking off. That's what you want. It's not so much about the damage, it's about the leadership of the cavalry. Although the charge bonus is nice, of course. And we've broken off a fairly substantial force here. We're going to try and kill some as they're running. And our general has recovered, fortunately. This is not good. He's just going to slaughter those handgunners. There's not really a heck of a lot I can do to stop that. Can't fight 1v1 because he's on no health and he's got worse stats. So it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. Going in for the charge again. Not the best contact. I should have wrapped around more this way, but hey, what are you going to do? I was hoping to get the route, but it's not happening. They have some sort of buff going in there, but I don't know what it is. And these guys are coming back, which is going to be a problem. Having a look over here quickly. That other unit of Skinwolves has got 123 kills, and they're on about half health, so that's still a problem for the AI to deal with. But they're doing well overall. I'm surprised at how well they're doing, in fact. And you can see my forces are completely butchered. It's going to be a huge struggle here to win this, if at all possible. And we are being attacked from two sides, which is not good, and their general is doing a lot of damage. So I'm just going to charge frontally. They don't really have the mass to stop me, so I'm just going to plough straight through them and bugger off before they start dying. And unfortunately our handgunners are dying, but they've done well for themselves. They've got 100 kills. I can't really complain. I'm making my leader bugger off as well, because I don't want him to rout. So that would be terrible for our leadership. Speaking of leadership, I went in a bit too deep with these Empire Knights and they've been routed. I should have kept them closer to General, but hey, what will do? There's routes on either side though, as our handgunners flee, their marauders flee, and that line there is going to be terrible for us. Great news on the other flank though, as most of their units have shattered, which means that they are not coming back. There's no way they're going to unroute themselves, which is really good. And, more importantly, their Empire captain's on quite a lot of health. It's not looking so great on our flank though. We are in very bad shape here. Very, very bad shape. Our handgunners have recovered though, which is good. This range play is so important. I'm going for a quick charge with my Empire Knights against the enemy general, but it's really not very effective. Not effective at all. And this is going to be rough. Brutal. Filthy northern raiders coming and hammering the poor Empire Knight, or Empire General rather. It's getting very weak on both sides. Our forces have been well and truly drained. As you can see, we're down to roughly equal troops. Remarkably equal. And we started with remarkably equal troops as well, but theirs were a little bit better than ours. But the one thing they're lacking right now is mobility, because their skin walls are dwindling. One of them was shattered. And as you can see, there's a mass rout going on here with my forces. The handgunners, unfortunately, are going to retreat, but they did 102 kills, so I can't really complain. But, on the flip side, some marauders have been shattered, but swordsmen are fleeing. I think the other unit of swordsmen has fled a long time ago. The balance of power is not looking great for us. And soon, the only unit I'm going to have left is this stack of Empire Knights. 19 models as well. But they've been doing a lot of work. 140 kills. Meanwhile, on our friendly AI's corner, their success has been continuing. They've got a decent amount of troops left, and they're about to rout these skimballs, I believe. And they're the priority target right now. They're brutal. I think they have bonus versus infantry? Or is that large? Oh, it's bonus versus large. But I believe Cav counts as large, so it would be disastrous if they were left alive. Trying to rout off these marauders, but they're only routed, not shattered. So it's not an ideal situation. No, I think there's a plane going past. Sorry if you can hear that, but there's not much I can do about it. That balance of power is pretty bad. And at this point I'm thinking, well, if I can't kill this chieftain, I might as well try and support my AI friends. And they're so close to routing, they're on 11 morale, or leadership I should say. That damage sustained is brutal. 6. Goes without saying that they're completely exhausted at this point. They've been doing a lot of work for us. But, as I said, those skin wolves are going to get routed and shattered. Fantastic news. Fantastic news for us here. And there goes the Marauder Hunters, also shattered. And they're shattered. Everything's shattered. And that's fantastic. This is where the power of cavalry really shines. Making troops rout can be way more useful than just doing the straight up damage. Although it has to be said that in order for troops to rout, they do need to be damaged. So it's a bit of a balancing act with cavalry. You've got to do the damage, but the leadership penalties they can inflict are also exceptional. We only get the charge off here. And they're shattered as well, lovely. So what remains on this really awful battlefield here? What? A unit of Marauder champions are on the brink of breaking. They're at 0 leadership. And I wonder if they will. And other than that, the only thing that they have, I believe, is their general. But that is still a formidable force. He's got most of his health and he's going to slaughter those halberdiers. But I'm going to make them most of this situation. Try and inflict leadership penalties and make him rout. Because there's nothing else left other than those. And if the Marauder champions are left, then my cavalry will be able to deal with them just fine. So I'm going to go in for a charge here. But it's a side-on charge, so it's not particularly great. So I'm going to retreat and go for a rear charge, I think. But the halberdiers have actually been routed now, unfortunately. So I'm going to pull away because I've got no chance of routing him if I'm the only one attacking. I'm going to wait for my reinforcements to come in. Just the right time, and here we go. This is it. This is the engagement. Going to try and make him rout. He's just doing so much damage to us. He's on 100 kills himself, which is pretty ridiculous for a single entity. It's close. He's not quite routing, so I'm going to go for another circle charge. Oh, there it is. He's routing. That balance of power has gone firmly onto our favour, and there it is. Beautiful. This was a really hard fought battle for me. I'm pretty pleased with my micro, but of course I did leave them in for sustained combat a little bit too long. Either way, this is over. And my subjects have, well, I shouldn't say subjects, they're more like electors, let's call them that. I definitely won't be integrating them later on, or anything, don't worry about that. Your independence is assured. And my bloodlust has got me to the point where I want to kill this guy, even though it makes no difference. And we killed him, and that is indeed a Pyrrhic victory. God, there were so few troops left on either side there. You can see they've been butchered. So they did start off with a few extra troops, and they actually have more troops remaining than us, and that's the power of routing with cavalry. You don't need to kill them, just make them shatter, and it's good enough. Those skin wolves, like I was saying, were a huge problem for the AI, but thankfully they dealt with it. And while they didn't get as many kills as I did, they were a useful distraction and actually won their fight, which allowed us to win in the end. So that was a very difficult battle for me, and yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how it went. So thank you once again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little replay review, and I'll see you on the next one.